The TLT Talks. As usual, we've lined up an incredible guest for you today. He goes by the name of Christian. He's a senior loan officer at Clifco Mortgage Bankers. I know what you're thinking. What is that? Well, we're going to find out today. He's going to join us in just a second. His areas of focus are that he's a first-time homebuyer specialist. He works with seasoned investors. They have a master of all trades, a renaissance man, if you will. I have some of his accolades here. Formerly the top dog at Citizens Bank, which everybody knows. Number one is in customer reviews. No surprise for TLT there. And then he's had enough. He took his talents solo, went and opened a bank with his buddy Ace. Actually, here he is. Christian, my man, how goes
Yeah.
it?
Hey, Eugene, doing well. Always a pleasure being on the show.
We love having you on, man. So I was just reintroducing our audience to you. We're going to talk all about Cliff Code today and what that is, what that looks like.
Yes.
First, if you want to take a moment to reintroduce yourself to our viewers, who are you, bro? Who are you?
Yeah. Thank you for having me as always. Christian Nguyen. I am a senior loan officer at Clifco Mortgage Bankers. You know, Clifco has been a really great platform for, as I think I heard you, like self-employed borrowers, specifically first-time home buyers, we do it all. Like there's a mortgage product for everyone. It's up to us to find it and help the clients, get into the American dream, which is getting their home, right? So that's who I am in a nutshell.
Love it, love it. Well, that's the work you. What about the fun you? You know how we like to have fun on this team? Give us a fun fact. We're about to do some karaoke. Maybe you want to go there, I don't know, but give me a fun fact. What do you got?
I'm Asian, and I love karaoke. It's my favorite pastime. Guilty. What can I say? My favorite song, "A Whole New World" by Aladdin.
Let's
I've
go.
always enjoyed it. I've always been a Disney fan from a young age till now. Now that I have my own daughter, it's I sing it to her. She loves
Oh,
it.
I
I
love
hope.
it. Well, you heard it here first. We will be doing karaoke with our team at some point in April. Christian's about to do a whole new world. We'll get it. We'll get it up for you guys. We'll get it up
Yeah,
for you guys.
a
We're
hundred
gonna turn you into a
percent.
rock
That
star, sir.
let's
Mortgages
do it.
by day, American Idol by night. Let's go.
I'm in it.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, my man. So you were with Citizens, which is one of
Yeah,
the best known private banks out there. You
yeah,
were the top dog, and then you woke up one day and you said, enough is enough for whatever reason.
yeah,
Let's go do our own thing. And so you went and you did it. So kudos to you. You know how much I love the entrepreneurial dream.
yeah.
But tell us about it. I remember a day when I used to say I'm with Compass, and people were like, who? And now, obviously, it's a very different platform. I have full confidence
Yeah,
X number of years from now, 2 or 20, whatever the amount is,
yeah,
you're gonna say Clifco and be like, oh no, wait, you're with Clifco? What's
yeah.
going on there? Yada yada. So tell us about it, man. What's going on there?
That's the idea, right? Like Rome wasn't built in a day. Everything that
Right,
was great started from somewhere, right? And it
right.
starts with the people. It's really, like a company doesn't make the company, the people make the company, right? And those
Right.
that are in there are always going to like strive for the best. And the people I work with today, we talked about Ace, James Chen, Queenie, Adam Turkowitz, Dave. These are like my dudes. These are my guys, right? And
Yeah.
we're just doing some really great things together, and it's just been such an amazing form of camaraderie where we're always looking to help each other, whether it's be on the marketing side or the product side for our clients, and we say, hey, where's the gap, like what needs to be filled in today's market to help people get into their
Mm,
homes, right? And
right.
so we have our executive meetings, we have our team leader meetings, and it's just so great to be in an environment like that where it's so cohesive. Like
Yeah.
you want to grow better. You want to do great things together. And I think we're like the 300 right now. You know what I mean? Like we're standing against this crazy army, and we're doing so great. And we're gonna keep on doing what we do
I
best.
love it. Yeah, and I love that you say that. So for those that may not know, Adam Turkowitz he was one of the top producers at Wells Fargo, and he actually stopped by the office the other day, and all of a sudden he made the jump to Clifco, and there's a couple other people that are the same, and these are industry competitors who have competing books ultimately that have now come together to form this cohesive. One of the 8 Compass principles is collaborate without ego, and it's one of our
Love
founding
that.
principles, and I feel like you guys have sort of the same thing over there. So give me a little bit of the why. Like, what was it that traditional banks have a little too much red tape? Was it that you know, there was a corporate structure that was constricting you somehow for like why Clifco? Why not? Why did you jump? But why was Clifco formed? What does Clifco solve
Yeah.
that maybe other banks don't necessarily solve?
Yeah, for sure. And so at the end of the day, like I mentioned, it does come down to the people. When Ace was looking, he just saw that the senior management team over there were accepting and willing to grow. And Ace, you know, he's done it before. He's the one who brought Citizens to New York
Right.
and make it to the conglomerate it is known today, right? And so he thought to himself, like, you know what? I want to do something for himself. You know him. He's a very entrepreneurial guy, owns
Yeah.
restaurants, has his hands in everything. I was like, you know what? But the one thing I love about Ace is he always leads with his heart. And
Hmm.
I think that's the most important thing to me, where it doesn't come down to like the numbers. It comes down
Sure.
to like how you want to grow people, right?
Sure.
And he uses a term before that I really love. It's servant leadership, which is
Hmm.
how does a person in his stature help bring everyone else up to another level, right? And
Yeah.
that's why, like, you know, the rising tide raised all ships. So that's why, you know, I love the guy. I'm with him to the end, and I
Hmm.
think that together you just accomplish so much more when there's a genuine relationship there and a
Yeah, of
genuine
course.
care for your craft and the business and the people that you want to surround yourself with. And I think it's just really great, man.
I love it. Ace, if you're listening or watching this, I can't think of a more compelling argument for a race. Just saying, just putting it out there, Ace.
We
Just putting it out
love that.
there.
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah, man, you know, Tom Brady said something that I absolutely love when I think it was when he went to Tampa Bay, or maybe even while he was still at New England, I forget. They asked him, like, you've already done it so many times. I think it was when he
Yeah,
was at Tampa Bay. And like, was this champion, you know, was this Super Bowl more meaningful? And he said, I've already got a bunch. I wasn't playing for a Super Bowl for myself. I was playing for the guys on my team that have never gotten one. And it's
I love
like,
that, man.
man, that's servant leadership. That's exactly the kind of organization you want to be a part of. That's real dope. What are you, so you're thinking about this, you know,
Yeah,
the cushy spot at Citizens with success as an underbelly, as a foundation. And then
yeah,
there's this new thing. You've got a family, you've got bills, you've got stuff. What were
yeah.
some of the biggest challenges or concerns in making the jump?
You know, at the end of the day, I feel like what's that saying? Luck favors the bold,
Wow,
or
that's right.
you know what
That's
I mean?
right.
Like it. At the end of the day, like you want to go out there. When I'm in my 70s, 80s, 90s, God willing, I get to that age. Like I just want to look back and be like, we did it. We did something. You know, something that
Mm-hmm.
was like that wasn't comfortable, right? Because when you
Mm-hmm.
push yourself just a little bit more, it kind of defines who you are. Like, who are you going to be in this stage? Like, you know, there are people who crack under pressure, and there are people who thrive under
Mm-hmm.
pressure, right? And I'm one of those guys. I love to thrive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
something comes down, I want to push harder, and I want to keep it going. And I just want to see, like, what am I really capable of? We only have this one beautiful life that we're living. And I just want to live it to the
Love it.
fullest, no matter what that, right? Like, I want to treat people well. I want to help as many people as I can in this life, whether that be financially through getting them a house for their family. Because you know, you and I are in real estate. We understand that you know people when they have their homes, they're building a foundation. They're
Yeah.
building a
Yeah.
neighborhood, building their community. They're building so much more than just themselves.
Right.
And right, and we help the people get to that and live it. And it's a beautiful thing, man.
I love it, man. Well, if you're watching this and you're on the hunt for a property and you don't yet have a mortgage broker, Christian and I have been working together for a very long time. And I can tell you this isn't hyperbole that he's sharing. This is literally who the guy is. I remember you and I were sitting there smoking cigars. Gosh, is it a year ago now? Maybe a little more, a little less. I don't remember.
Yeah,
And you called me up. I want to talk to you about, I'm thinking about making this move. And I'm like, well, what is it? Well, we're going to do things innovatively. Check. Ace is going to be driving. Check. And I don't want to have any regrets. Check. I'm with you. Let's go. We're going to be able to help clients more. Check. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check.
just go
All right,
down
well
the list.
that's it. That's it. Well, let's identify it. So obviously one of the primary reasons yourself and Ace went into this is to be able to offer different things or to be able to do things a little bit differently. So what's
Yeah,
different here? Is it the underwriting? Is it the product? Is it what
yeah.
makes this different than a traditional bank?
It's It's a combination, right? I mean, the fact that we do have local underwriting, like literally our underwriters and processors are here in New York, very local. If we need to get things done, it's literally like walking over, tapping them on the shoulder, like, hey, we got a high profile client. We need to get this going, right? And so
Mhm.
that really helped. The second thing is the product, right? You know, the big banks, they have their very cookie cutter products, right? Everyone loves that. But at the same token, there's a lot of self-employed borrowers out there who may not meet the traditional conventional financing requirements, right?
Right.
And we have what's called non-QM, non-qualified mortgage products, where we work with a lot of private equity firms where they have an interest in these type of people, right? Because someone who doesn't claim a lot of income and taxes for whatever reason doesn't necessarily mean they can't really afford a place, right? And so these private equity firms, they really understand that there is a market for that, and there's ways to help people in the self-employed business. And I was just reading an article the other day that many individuals right now they're kind of straying away from working for a big conglomerate, right? They want to start their own thing and see where it leads
Mhm.
them. And so we have products to really help them get their financing for their home. So, look, there's so many products out there that we just need to kind of know the scenario for
Right.
them, understand what their process is, understand what their scenario in terms of their self-employed, their assets, their credit, and then we're able to get them a home that they
Yeah,
need
that's
and want.
so great. The self-employment products especially are so interesting because I don't have a specific data point, but I would guess if we looked at a trend, the quantity of entrepreneurs today versus 3 years ago versus 10 years ago, the quantity of new businesses being opened, the amount of people choosing not to go to school out of high school, but to start a business, whether it's content or whatever it is, apps, AI. I mean, there's so many avenues now
Yeah,
that the landscape is changing. And I'm a user of this same, or I guess I'm a similar client in the way of, I'm an entrepreneur, and I do
yeah,
pretty well by common standards. And so when it was time for me to buy a home, I had trouble. No names, but you and I just helped a
yeah,
buyer that was
yeah,
struggling for like 4 years. She's got tons of liquidity,
yeah,
but essentially, the way traditional banks look at it with credit and DTI and income and all that stuff, everywhere she went, and she's not American by natural born, whatever the proper
yeah,
language is for that.
yeah,
And so when her and I were having she wasn't born here, essentially,
yeah,
she didn't start here,
yeah,
she didn't start her life here.
yeah,
And so when her and I were having private chats, she was like partially offended by the process. She's like, "What? Like, what is this? Maybe New York's just not for me because I do well. I have money. Why won't anybody give me a loan?" And she couldn't quite grasp that despite the fact that she has millions of dollars in the bank and she's an entrepreneur and this and that. And I would explain it to her. Well, look, this is how it works. The same as a, and she was like offended by the process. So the fact that
yeah,
you guys have specialized products for first-time buyers, for entrepreneurs, for different things, I actually think it's really brilliant, and I'm surprised it took this long
yeah,
for PE to get into the game and start participating. I mean, PE made a big play into buying single-family houses all over the country right after
sure,
COVID. And so, I mean, listen, it's great for values, but if you're trying to buy a house, prices get driven up and
right,
the natural Darwinism of things.
yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
surprised it took P this long to understand there is a market cap here of billions of dollars
mm,
that can't get financing under these traditional guidelines. Let's
yeah.
monetize this. I mean, entrepreneurship is solving for problems. I'm surprised it took this long for the PE machine to step in and solve for these problems, and you're one of them. So really, really cool, man. Really cool. Is there
Yeah,
anything specific that you guys, really specialize in? Like, for example, one is the self-employment
right,
one. Anything
right.
else that you could say right now? If you're this, we got you with X. One, a few of those.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the two that really stand out is our profit and loss,
Mhm.
right? Because the reason is we take the most recent profit and loss statement and whatever the accountant claims with the client, and they work out their numbers in terms of what they're making gross versus what their net income is after the expenses. Whatever that income is, that's what we would use to help qualify the client.
Mhm.
That can be supported through the amount of assets or the amount of funds being deposited into the bank statements, right? So these are legitimate products and numbers that we're working with to help the client really approve, right? Because like I said, just because they're not claiming a lot of income on their tax returns doesn't mean that they can't afford a mortgage, right?
Very cool. Yeah.
The second product we have is like the bank statement
Sorry, let
loans.
me just clarify that. So basically what you're saying is if my W-2
Yeah,
says 20 grand, but my P&L says X, you guys have a product that goes over the P&L, not the W-2.
that's
Correct?
correct. That's
Beautiful.
exactly
Okay,
correct.
great. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
What else we got?
It's a great product. The second one are bank statement loans. So essentially, based on a number of deposits that someone would put on a monthly basis over the course of 12 months, we average it out. We do an expense factor against it, depending on the type of business it is, how many clients you have, etc. And then we derive assets from that as well. I'm sorry, we
Mm,
derive income from that as well,
right.
right? So, there's just so many ways that like that's not conventional to look at how to finance a client, and those are the two that really come to mind that have been really helping my clients get their mortgage. And so it's a great product. I'm really looking forward to it. Not a lot of people know about it, especially self-employed. They always think like, oh man, I'm not able to afford it, but it's all about knowledge, right? Product
Yeah,
knowledge and educating the consumer like, hey,
right.
you can get this done. And so
Yeah,
we're doing great things, and I'm looking forward to helping more people in
love it. Love it,
2025.
man. Yeah, again, if you guys are watching or if you're going to watch when we ultimately circulate this through our email newsletter, obviously we can't go over every single product on a 30-minute show or even a 30-hour show probably.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions or you're curious, or if you don't be stuck in status quo, if you think, well, I've talked to a million banks and I can't get financing, it's worth a call. It's worth a call to see what's what, or a refi, though it's probably not the best time in the market to refi. But whatever it is, Christian, like myself, loves to add value. So any questions you might have, feel free to come to me to connect. Or Christian, you know what? Quickly, well, actually, no, pause. We'll do it at the end. Just how can people
Yeah.
reach you or such?
Sure.
Daisy writes, finally, mortgage options that actually work for the self-employed. I see
Yes.
Jason Zegans. You know what? You and Jason can do a whole. Jason Zegans is our preferred attorney, a
Love
dear friend of mine.
Jason.
The three of us work a lot together. You and Jason can do a whole new world together, talking about the future of real estate.
I
I'll
mean,
jump in with Compass. We got
I,
this. A
I'm in.
triplet. We got
I'm
this.
ready to rock and roll. We're gonna make it happen.
All right, Christian. So talk to me about, you guys obviously see a lot. Besides the fact that you see a lot, you guys create the market in some ways.
Yeah.
What are you seeing in the way of trends? What's going on with rates? What's going on with buyer applications? Talk to us
Yeah.
about what you're seeing out there.
All great questions. I'd say since the beginning of 2025, I have been very busy. I'd probably say a new lead a day, which is amazing. It just kind of shows that people are like getting cabin fever. Like they need to move out of their place. Some of them are just
Yeah.
like waiting for like ever. And there's some point, like they're just thinking like this is the new norm, right? And they're making the moves. And the reality is there's always a great time to buy it, right? Like I remember when I was talking to someone when the rate was at 2.5%, and they said, "Oh, the rate's too high." I was like, "What? What's going on right now? How can you say that right now? 2.5% on a 7-1 arm." I was like, and then the 30-year fix was at like 2.875, right? And I'm just like, man, some people are just never happy, right? And so at the end of the day, it comes down to like breaking down the numbers, right? Like,
Yep.
what does that really mean for someone? Because they don't live in the price; they live in the payment, right? So for me, my job is to make sure, like, hey, yes, this is how much the purchase price is, but if you put this down, or if we had this certain loan program with a better interest rate, specifically, let's say I have great products right now, low to moderate income area, they're offering 5.625% on a 7-1 arm.
Wow.
Like 5.625%.
Wow.
And if seller gives a 2% seller's concession, I can buy that rate down to 5%. Like,
wow, 5%. We're back, baby.
but yeah,
we're back, baby.
we're there. You just gotta find it. You gotta know. When I was working at the bigger banks, I just had this like, it's almost like tunnel vision, right? You're limited to a certain amount of products that you have available.
Like an assembly line. Like an assembly line.
Right?
Like,
now that I'm both a banker and broker, and we're just constantly looking for the investors that would offer these great products, my horizon has really expanded. It's all about really understanding where can I place this client based on their current situation today to really help them get into that home, right? And so, it's really great. I think those who really excel in 2025 are those who put in the time and the work and the effort to really make a name for themselves, right? I mean, we understand that. They always say the top 80% of the business is done by the top 20, and those are the people that are actually always working on their craft, right? And so, That's who we are as real estate professionals.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's right. Where there's this phrase that we hear all the time: people marry the property, but they only date the rate.
Yeah.
And so, big message to everybody out there. I'm feeling exactly the same. We uh we are currently at 50% of buyer signed contracts on February 27th of where we were all of last year.
Wow.
So like it's exactly as you say. I couldn't agree more. People are getting off the fence. People are realizing this rate's never coming back to 3% or not for a long time. The
Right.
rents aren't getting any cheaper. The rents are actually going up. And so if you the longer you wait, the more in the rental that you are, like the rent's only going to go up, or your owner, if you live in a condo or a co-op, may decide to sell. And I think people are reacclimating to this being a norm. Last year was also a really weird year. You had war, you had the interest rate, you had regulation, you had election year. Like it was just election year is always kind of funky, but
Right.
last year especially,
Yeah.
there was so much uncertainty. Uh, so we saw an immediate move there.
Yeah.
We're telling all of our clients that look, we don't push anybody like yourself, we just educate and add value. And we're
Yeah.
telling everybody, if you plan to buy in the next 1 to 3 years, then don't wait because the rate is likely going to come down. That's likely what's going to happen. Not a political statement in any way, but Trump's policies are inflationary, so prices are going to go up. And he's communicated that he wants to bring rates and taxes down. So what that means is everything is going to increase in price.
Yeah.
So if you are planning to make a move in the next couple of years, when this rate goes down, the inventory is not getting any larger. The surplus of inventory is more or less the same. So if this rate goes down, buyer competition goes up, prices go up. So you're better off. People are always like, oh, I want the best possible price. Well, part of that is getting a property now that you can then refi into a cheaper rate. So you buy low. As the prices go up, you refi into a better rate. You get the best of both worlds.
Yes.
And yeah, man, I just, for anybody out there that's thinking about it, maybe you're renting, maybe you've thought about it. I hope this illuminates. So, are we back, see?
Yeah. I lost you for
No,
a
it
quick
was me.
second, I think.
It was me. My Instagram alarm came up. Your time limit is up. It's the second time it's happened to me. I mean, good job, Instagram. You're doing your job. Keep me off
Yeah. Yeah.
Instagram and busy.
That's right.
um,
But you're
yeah, man.
absolutely
So
right what you said. And you know what? The whole thing about as interest rates go down, more buyers are going to come into the market. And you know what that means? More bidding wars, right? And the reality is, you can lose one way or the other, right? You want to pay the higher interest rate for now, right? At least you get into the property. You don't have to worry about standing in line, waiting to see the property, and just like go into that bidding war. And sometimes I've seen a bidding war not too long ago where when rates went back down to like the 6% rate, maybe like a few months ago, the line was out the
crazy.
door.
Seven,
It
10,
was
15
insane.
bids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
then I
And
heard,
and right now, there is a possibility to negotiate a deal. Whereas when the frenzy starts, no
no.
one wants to hear it. So what I was saying before I got cut off by Instagram, I hope, well, for anybody that's watching this, I hope we've illuminated for you two things. Number one, no pressure. This is not some pitch for you to go buy. This is saying, think about future pace and make sure you think about what's the next 1 to 5 years of your life look like. If you are, if you guys are about to have a kid, if you're about to change, if you have life conditions that are going to change in the next 2, 3, 4 years, don't procrastinate this thought process. Think about it now, because
Yeah.
if you wait 2, 3 years, you will find yourself in exactly the environment that we're talking about. And more importantly, if you did want to make a move, but the traditional assembly line, for whatever reason, couldn't make it happen for you, there are other options out there, especially in the way of buying down rates. Like we bought our house about 3 years ago, and at that time, you were still with Citizens, and I'm just educated in this field
Yeah.
because it's what I do.
Yeah.
And while everyone's like, "Oh, rates this, rates that," we got me secured with Christian. You got me secured at a 4% interest only for 10 years, where everybody else was doing 5.5, 6, whatever. So there's a ton of options out there, guys. There's a ton of options out there. And so, if anything else, our message to you today is future pace. Think about what your next steps over the next couple of years are going to look like. B, no, there are some other options that are not on the assembly line or traditional. And C, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to us and buckle up. This market's going to get wild over the next couple of years.
Right.
See, any final thoughts? Any final thoughts? Any gems of wisdom you want to impart on our viewers?
Yeah, I would just say, don't wait. Just be well informed. Reach out to the professionals. You can't be a Google doctor. You can't be a Google real estate agent or a Google real estate broker. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Talk to professionals. We do it day in and day out. We're here to educate you in terms of what you can and can't do, what you can accomplish, what you can't accomplish. Like, we're here to help you. Just give us a call. We're one phone call away.
I feel like every time you do that bit, I feel like we're Jerry Maguire. Help me, help you, help me. Absolutely. Christian, what a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Of course. Thank you. As always, we'll be in touch, yeah?
See you.
See you soon.
Wait. Sorry.
Yeah.
Last thing.
Yeah.
If people want to find you, other
Yes.
than reaching out to me, which I'll, of course, happy to connect you, if people want to find you, how do they reach out to you directly?
Cell phone or email. My number is 201-978-3355. My email address is cnguyen@cliffgomortgage.com.
There you go. So if that was too fast, reach out to me.
Yeah.
If you reach out to Christian directly, mention the Litvak team he treats everybody great, but mention the Litvak team for extra special service.
Yeah.
Christian, thank you, brother. Love you, man.
We're here. Thank you. Talk soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.